Have you ever looked at the gear sitting in your garage and thought someone else would totally pay to use this? Maybe it's a bike you barely ride, paddleboard that you use a few weekends a year, or a set of skis that only come out once every winter. That idea, access over ownership, is exactly why sports gear rental businesses work. In this video, we're walking through how to start a sports gear rental business from scratch. Not in a hypey, quit your job tomorrow way, but in a realistic, step-by-step way that actually reflects how people are doing this today. What's going on, everyone? My name is Eric Hunsaker, and on this channel, we focus on practical business ideas and side hustles that real people can start without massive upfront costs or complicated systems. So if you're someone who enjoys sports, the outdoors, or just the idea of building a simple business that makes sense, this is one to pay attention to. We're going to talk about why rentals work, where people go wrong, how to start small, and how to grow without overextending yourself. And we'll also look at a real-world case study that proves this model works at both small and large scales. Why sports gear rental is a solid business model. Let's start with the big picture. People love activities like biking, kayaking, skiing, paddleboarding, camping, tennis, and pickleball. What they don't love is spending a ton of money on equipment that they're not sure that they'll use often. That gap between wanting to try something and not wanting to buy the gear is where rental businesses live. Think about a tourist visiting a beach town for a long weekend. They might want paddleboards for a day. They're not flying with one, and they're definitely not buying one just for that trip. So renting is the obvious choice. The same logic applies to locals too. Plenty of people want to try something new without committing hundreds of dollars up front. Rentals lower that barrier. Now, from a business standpoint, rentals are attractive because the same piece of equipment can generate income again and again. One kayak might pay for itself dozens of times over a season. Once you cover the upfront cost, each rental becomes mostly profit margin, minus maintenance and insurance. Another reason this works is location flexibility. You don't need to be in a massive city. Rental businesses thrive near parks, lakes, beaches, trails, courts, ski areas, and anywhere that people gather to be active. And finally, there's a sustainability angle that actually matters to a lot of people now. Renting gear instead of buying new equipment every season reduces waste, which resonates with customers, whether you explicitly market it or not. A real case study that proves this works. So before we go any further, it's important to ground this into something real. One of the best known examples of this business model is Spinlister. Spinlister started in Portland, Oregon, which is a city with a strong biking culture and a steady stream of visitors. The founders noticed something pretty simple. Tourists wanted bikes and locals already had bikes that weren't being used every day. So instead of opening a traditional bike rental shop with a big storefront and a huge inventory, they created a platform where individuals could rent out their own bikes. Over time, that expanded into surfboards, paddleboards, skis, and other outdoor gear in different regions. What matters here isn't that Spinlister became a big platform. What matters is the logic behind it. They proved that people are happy to rent sports equipment instead of owning it. Expensive gear is perfect for rentals. Seasonal demand doesn't kill the business. It defines it. Insurance and waivers make this model viable. Spinlister eventually operated in multiple countries and was acquired by Outdoorsy, which is another rental-focused company. You're not trying to build Spinlister, but their success confirms something important. This model works whether you're a solo operator with a trailer or a tech-enabled platform serving thousands of users. Understanding seasonal demand and why it's not a bad thing. One thing that scares people off from rental businesses is seasonality. They hear seasonal and immediately think unstable. In reality, seasonality just means planning. If you're in a cold weather area, winter might be about skis and snowboards. Summer might shift to bikes or camping gear. In warmer climates, summer could be peak season for paddleboards and kayaks with slower winters. The key is not trying to force year-round demand for one type of gear. Instead, you either rotate equipment or accept that some months are busier than others. Many rental businesses actually prefer this rhythm. Busy seasons generate most of the revenue, and slower seasons are used for maintenance, upgrades, marketing prep, and planning. You can also smooth income by offering multi-day rentals, weekend packages, or group rates. Families, bachelor parties, school groups, and tourists tend to rent more when bundles make sense. Starting small instead of starting big. So this is where a lot of people mess up. They imagine a rental business and immediately think storefront, employees, dozens of inventory items, and a big loan. None of that is required at the beginning. Many successful rental businesses start out of people's garages, storage units, or small trailers. Some operate as appointment-only pickups. Others deliver gear directly to customers. Starting small lets you learn what actually rents. You might think that paddleboards are the move, but discover bikes are rented out twice as often. Or you might find that kids' gear rents more consistently than adult gear. Those are lessons that you want to learn before you spend a lot of money. Researching your market without overthinking it. Market research doesn't have to be super complicated. Start by looking around your area. What are people already doing? Are there bike trails, lakes, beaches, tennis courts, pickleball courts, campgrounds? Then look at what already exists. Are there rental businesses nearby? What do they offer? When are they open? What do people complain about in reviews? Sometimes the opportunity isn't inventing something new. It's fixing what's inconvenient. Maybe rentals close too early. Maybe they don't deliver. Maybe they only rent adult sizes. You can also ask directly. Local Facebook groups, Reddit threads, and community boards are great places to gauge interest. Even simple conversations go a long way. Building a business plan that's actually useful. A business plan doesn't need to be formal. It needs to answer a few basic questions honestly. What gear are you renting? Who is renting it? How much does it cost you? How much do you charge? That's it. You'll want to think through pricing carefully. Rentals should cover not just the purchase price, but wear and tear, maintenance, insurance, and replacement. A common mistake is underpricing because you're worried about competition. In reality, customers care more about convenience, availability, and condition rather than saving a few dollars. Legal setup without getting lost in the weeds. This is the part that most people want to skip, but it's very important. Many rental businesses operate as LLCs because it separates personal and business liability. That's especially important when people are using equipment that could cause injury. And to get your LLC up and running, we recommend using LegalZoom. LegalZoom is super easy to use, and we went ahead and left a link for you down in the description so you can go ahead and get started with your LLC. Just when you click on that link, it'll bring you this page right here where you can go ahead and choose from one of their 3 different plans. Now you can actually go ahead and get it filed for free. You just pay the state fees that you'd pay anyways, and LegalZoom will take care of the rest. They've also got a couple other plans here if you want a little bit more help and more hands-on and some attorney guidance. So we'll have that link for you down in the description below. Now you'll also need to check local permits. Some parks, beaches, or municipalities require permission to operate rentals nearby. Others don't. You won't know until you ask. Rental agreements and waivers matter. They protect you and set expectations. This isn't about scaring customers. It's just about clarity. Choosing and managing equipment the smart way. Your equipment is your product. Buying brand new gear can be great, especially for customer trust, but it's not always necessary at the beginning. High quality used gear can work just as well if it's inspected and maintained properly. The key is consistency. Customers want equipment that feels safe, clean, and reliable. Maintenance isn't glamorous, but it's where good rental businesses separate themselves from bad ones. Cleaning, inspecting, and tracking repairs should be routine. Insurance and risk, the non-negotiable part. Now, there's no way around this. Insurance is part of the business. General liability insurance is usually the starting point. And depending on your setup, you may also need coverage for equipment loss or damage while it's being used off-site. Waivers and insurance work together. One doesn't replace the other. Operations that don't drive you crazy. As you grow, systems matter. Online reservations reduce friction. Inventory tracking prevents double bookings. Clear pickup and return processes save time. You don't need fancy software on day one. Spreadsheets can work to start. Simple booking tools work. What matters is consistency. If you bring on help, training matters. Staff should know how to fit gear, explain usage, and spot safety issues. Marketing that feels natural. Your website should answer basic questions clearly. What you rent, how much it costs, where you're located, and how to book. Social media works best when it shows real people using your gear. Not ads, not stock photos. Real usage. Partnerships are huge. Hotels, campsites, and event organizers already have your customers. So make it easy for them to send people your way. Growing without losing control. Growth doesn't have to mean chaos. Once your business is stable, you might add new gear, new locations, or subscription options. You might also find that fewer, higher quality rentals beat chasing volume. So pay attention to what customers ask for. That's usually your roadmap. So if you want to go ahead and get started with a website, one that we recommend that would be great for a rental business like this is Go High Level. Go High Level combines everything: your website, your CRM, your email marketing, your booking tool, all into one platform. So if you want to get started with Go High Level, we've got a link for you down in the description below where you can get an extended 30-day free trial. So you can go ahead and try out the entire platform for yourself and see if it's going to work for you in your rental business. A sports gear rental business works because it solves a real problem in a simple way. People want access. You provide it. Real-world examples like Spin Lister show that this model works at scale, but it also works one customer at a time. If you start small, stay organized, and focus on customer experience, this can be a flexible and profitable business that grows at your pace. So if you want to get started with any of the tools or products we talked about today, you'll find links for them down in the description below. These are affiliate links, which means we earn a small commission when you use them at no extra cost to you. And these commissions really help support the channel and allow us to continue to create free content just like this. So if you end up using them, we thank you so much in advance. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss another video. Here on Side Hustle Mastery, we explore a wide range of different side hustle ideas, strategies, and tips to help you make an extra income. So be sure to subscribe. But other than that, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you here in the next video.